Said the sun is still behind that massive cloud. What I'm trying to do is just walk a little steadier. Even though with my mirrorless gimbal I need to do this as well. Just the water hitting up against the rocks. Okay, so I'm going to use this as a test vlog today, just a quick little one from Kenosha Harbor. What I'm going to try to do is try a couple different walking steps to see if I can get the stabilization better on the gimbal. Most gimbals you do need to actually walk a certain way, a little bit different. I do walk kind of hard, kind of fast, so that throws it off a little bit, but we'll see what we can do with that. Secondly, I'm going to do the active track. There's actually a lighthouse here. I'm going to active track on that so that hopefully it can hold the center and stabilization a little bit better as well. It's very windy today, so you know it might interfere with the mic a little bit, so we'll see how that comes out. What I'm going to try to do is once I get closer to the lighthouse here, I'm going to put on active track to see if that'll help with the stability as I walk. Secondly, I'm going to walk a little bit slower than I normally usually do, like with a traditional gimbal, where you do have to kind of walk in kind of a movement, you know, kind of rolling off your feet a little bit more. So we'll see how that works. But again, it's really cold. It's probably 32 degrees. The waves are kicking up. This is Lake Michigan over here. Again, I'm looking just strictly at the 1-inch screen, so it's kind of hard to see. I mean, I can see the sky and sand, but I can't see too much more, so hopefully everything's in focus and doing well. Like I said, once I get closer to the actual lighthouse, I will active track on that and just kind of see if I can kind of lock the gimbal to stay focused on that. Kind of the spray shooting up, and there's the lighthouse that I'm trying to get to. Okay, so again, trying to get the lighthouse as I walk. What I do have is I have the active track exactly on the lighthouse, so hopefully it'll help with the jarring and bouncing. It's just another alternative. Again, I'm a very hard walker as I push down. I don't know why, but kind of a fast walker too, so I'm trying to stay right on the lighthouse as I walk. One problem with active track is that it will obviously keep the gimbal very still. Morning, how are ya? Good. The other problem that it has is it will obviously do what it's doing now, where you can't really scan it as much because it's locked on the actual center of it. This is me just using the screen to scan up and down, so we'll see how that works. Okay, this time I'm actually hooked up to the actual iPhone with the OSMO Pocket, and just so I want to be able to see the screen a little bit better. And I'm just going to go look at the lighthouse here. I believe that was the lighthouse quarters for where the person who stayed to keep the light on stayed. It's like a shelter down there. I'm gonna go over to this side so the sun will get a little bit better. So it was made in built in 1866. I don't know if that's when it was finished, or I'm assuming it is because that's where the tagline is. See, it's a nice blue sky today. So actually that was me manually going up and down. Now I'm going to use the actual iPhone gimbal, or the gimbal on the Pocket. So I'm actually, the phone's standing stationary. I'm just using the virtual joystick. That's actually pretty smooth. That's where the iPhone comes in really, or any smartphone that can hook up to it comes in really handy, because you can actually use that virtual joystick. Kind of wish they had a touchpad or something on the OSMO Pocket, because to actually just do that one additional feature would have been really nice. I'll do it one more time. You can obviously adjust the speed. So I'm just standing here and just using the up on the joystick on the iPhone screen. No zoom on the camera or anything, and so you have to zoom with your feet, which takes getting used to if you're used to mirrorless. And that's it. Might be a little bit of a cinematic thing I could do. This is the footsteps to the lighthouse. And there's to the front door. Again, the sun's right in the corner of the lens, so it's probably throwing it off a little bit. Okay, so I'm shooting with the iPhone hooked up to the OSMO Pocket. And we're just going to see what we can do now. We're just going to do a little walk down the beach. See how the stabilization works with that. A little bump there. I'm focused on the building right now. The beach is very uneven, so. Again, these are just more test shots to see if you could vlog with it. As much as I want to use it without the smartphone, it is pretty convenient having that joystick to be able to pan and do whatever you need to do with additional features. Like I can go up and down on just the OSMO Pocket, but it doesn't have left and right. This is all strictly the gimbal, just moving with the virtual joystick on the iPhone screen. I'm sure it's the same for Android, just used to calling it iPhone, so. Up that, I went a little too fast. So it's obviously, the farther you go off center, the faster it goes. But I mean, it does a pretty good job off the iPhone. Again, very windy, right off the beach, right off the water. So probably gonna get a lot of noise. So until I get some kind of windscreen on here, it'll be noisy for that. So hopefully I can figure out something to do with that, or something will come out on Amazon soon.